Ato's show totally blew my mind with her agility, creativity, all sorts of different vocal characters and sounds and textures coming out of this single voice. Now, there's a lot of production in the studio version of Show, and when this live version came across my feed, I have got to do a video. Because when I really latch onto a studio recording, one of my first questions is, how are they going to do this live? Well, now I get my answer. So, I haven't listened to this yet. I'm experiencing it for the first time, right along with you. If you haven't seen my breakdown on Show, the original, definitely watch that, and you'll have even more appreciation, as I'm sure I will, for this video. Here we go.
新曲です。聴いてください。Show! Okay! たちまち独壇場 Listen, listen!
I was hoping I would hear some of that grit that I heard in the studio version right up front, and I did. Sorry, I'm going to start this over again.
聴いてください。Show! Okay! たちまち独壇場 Listen, listen!
Oh, there's so much going on even right there.
Figure it out. Yeah, showtime! 歌ってんのなりほらもいて Yo, concrete ほら hell yeah だんだんノリノリで超簡単 Blah, 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 hell Am I right? Die Ain't nobody stop
There's some subtle background vocal things going on, but you can hear how she's adapted the massive studio arrangement with this performance. She is leaving nothing out in terms of her level of expressiveness and vocal playfulness. Lots of times you hear vocalists do something really impressive in the studio, and then when it comes to delivering live, they really pull back because doing all these different things is really challenging. But I will say this. Yes, doing all these different sounds with your voice is challenging, but it's actually more challenging to do one thing for several minutes than it is bouncing around and doing all of these character-based things. Doing a lot of things for several minutes. Let's back up a little bit and listen to just a few of these sounds, these distortion sounds in particular. So not distortion, but right there. Yeah. She's got this freedom with her voice to go in between her chest and head registers. Yeah. In a way that few vocalists do. And she's hitting notes on either side, right? She's abandoning to her head resonance and then abandoning to her chest. Listen to how she still chooses notes in here, though. It's absolutely incredible. Yeah. There's two actual notes happening. And then we've got this wonderful sounding distortion here. She heats up her voice. If you're not doing this stuff right, you start to feel it within a few seconds, and there's no way you can pull off even one song if you're doing distortion incorrectly. She starts out with it and then goes into all sorts of clean singing. This idea that she's constricting over her primary chords. Yeah! Her distortion is additive, not happening right at her vocal cords. That's why she can make so many sounds that are distorted and then go back to clean singing and her voice sounds healthy. Part of the reason I love analyzing Ato's voice so much is because she inspires me and so many to be playful and free with our voices. If you'd like help with your voice, if you'd like to start singing freely, click the link below and join my free voice course. Now that distortion, is a bit more of a growl. We had the upper constriction and the slightly lower constriction. Listen to this. It's a very subtle difference, a big difference, I think, too. Stop. Yeah?
衝撃の吹いてくれた平等ともうがランド
Beautiful harmony stack there. I love that she's got background vocalists live with her doing some of these things. It really features her performance as a whole. I mentioned this in the original version, and I'm glad to see it happening even more so in this version. She's got this extreme intensity. Yeah, if I put this in my own voice, right, in my own range. But she's always chirping or slightly abandoning out of these aggressive notes. Yeah, See how I'm doing that? This is an arbitrary abandonment into head voice. This keeps me loose even as I'm intense. It keeps me free even as I'm intense as a vocalist. And you can hear that here. If she was locking herself into these intense sounds, she would burn out. This is part playfulness, but this is also part stamina and strategy. How are we going to give the best, most engaged performance while still serving our vocal anatomy well? Right there. Yeah! At the very end, she releases or almost sighs out of it. It's not, yeah! She's not getting more and more intense. She's backing off. This is such a key in live performances. And once you hear it in one live performance and you know what to listen for, you listen to vocalists who are great at performing live and they all do it. There's it again. She did that line. The eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And she abandons up into that little chirpy, it almost sounds whistle register there. I'm also getting a good view of the silhouettes of the live band, which is so awesome. It's not just being sung to a track. You can clearly see all these different instrumentalists in there. Oh, it's so great. Oh, I gotta hear that distortion again. The fact that so many of her vocal inflections from the studio recording are here and so close, in some ways a bit more energetic because of this live energy, speaks to her proficiency and her artistry as a vocalist. She's not doing stuff in the studio and using studio technology to cheat or to do things that she wouldn't be able to pull off live. She's doing it here. And in some cases, the energy of this performance is even more exhilarating. And what's also cool is I don't hear any noticeable pitch correction or anything like that. In studio recording, sometimes they can hide it because they graph it and they make sure and do it meticulously so it's sort of, in the back. Here, I suppose they could have done it after the fact as well, but you listen to these spoken word sections, you listen to her slides and her inflections along pitch, and they do not sound altered. There might be a little bit of intonation correction going on, but I don't hear it. And that's great news for me as the listener, because when I do hear that, it tends to sap some of the energy of the performance, for me anyway. Ooh. Now, if you remember on the original, there's a lot of layers going on here. She's just catapulting all over the place. She goes back and forth between two completely different voices on the same note. There again. I love that transition right there. That major chord. Now that was kind of the reverse of what she's done before, where she really builds into a note in her chest voice. Here, she actually started it with the sigh as opposed to abandoning into the sigh. Listen again. The chirp was at the beginning. The sigh was in the beginning. You can tell there's this relaxed intensity, which is optimizing her ability to emote over this live setting. Oh, that warm, almost traditional sounding break, and then she transforms into rock ado in one line. That was cool. So there is an example of a strategic electronic manipulation of the voice, but it's done for a very small section, and so we still get to hear all of her natural qualities in her singing, even though stuff isn't perfect. And I'm hearing not pitch problems, but I'm hearing a live vocalist. And so the fact that they're doing, every once in a while there's that intentional, obvious electronic manipulation of the voice, that's even more refreshing to me. That was amazing. Now I wonder, that one note in the middle, that maybe sounded like they harnessed it and put it right on pitch. But again, a short amount. It's not being ratcheted down the whole time. Oh. Listen to all those distorted textures. You had a growl, you had the upper constriction, and you had the chirp in there. All in one slide. I talked about this in one of her other videos, but I find it so interesting because these different distorted sounds are taking place in slightly different parts of her throat, and none of them are happening with her primary vocal cords, the one she's using to sing. We've got the which, I sound vastly different because I'm a male and I'm not her, but the general techniques are still the same. This is the lowest one, and you hear this from guys like Louis Armstrong. Even Whitney Houston used it sometimes. And then you've got this slightly higher distortion, which is sizzlier. No, but it's almost a rasp versus and then you've got the clean, and then you've got her head voice in there, and she goes in this one slide through all of those different textures. This is the kind of stuff you cannot add electronically or yet with artificial intelligence. You can sort of do it, but it doesn't sound natural. She sounds so natural, and there's so many textures going on, even in one tiny line. Cool. Wow. She did not disappoint. That was so fun to hear as an adapted live performance. Be sure to check out some of my other Ado videos. I have a playlist, so you can check them out conveniently right here. And again, if you'd like help with your own voice, if you like the way I pulled things out of Ado's voice, and you'd like help discovering things about what your voice can really do, click that link below and join my free voice course. We'll see you for more.